How's it going, everybody? Hey, thank you again for being with us. Happy Monday to you. We have loved this series we've been in, I Struggle With. And today we're going to be talking about greed. And listen to me, before you keep scrolling or you decide, hey, I don't need to listen to this, I'm telling you, this is something all of us need to hear. I know it's been convicting to me, and I know God's going to encourage and convict all of us to continue to be conformed to the image of Christ. But this is in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. This is what the writer says. Don't love money. It's an imperative statement. Be satisfied with what you have, for God has said, I love this promise, I will never fail you and I will never abandon you. What a great direct line. I love people who just shoot you straight. They have no problem just saying, hey, this is what you need to hear. And the writer of Hebrews, he says, listen, I want to make sure everybody hears this loud and clear. Do not make money an idol or a god in your life. Now, you've all heard before, and I will repeat it just because it's necessary to say, there's nothing wrong with money. I'm going to say that again. There's nothing wrong with money. And in fact, there's nothing wrong with having a lot of money. Some of you are thinking, okay, I like the way this is going. There's nothing wrong with it. But what the writer is saying is this: do not make money or things or possessions the pinnacle of your admiration. That's what we start to worship, we start to meditate on. And I know for my life, it's easy to say, oh, I don't struggle with that, I'm good. But then you have to kind of step back a little bit and say, okay, God, am I good? Holy Spirit, am I in a good place with this? Because whether we want to realize it or admit it or not, all of us battle with being content. And in fact, I think this is somewhat embedded in humanity. Even in the garden with Adam and Eve, they had every tree available to them. And this is before even a sinful nature. Every tree available, and they still craved for what they didn't have. And they wanted something that was not supposed to be in their possession. And for us, we have to make sure to guard our heart and to guard our minds to say, Lord, I don't want anything to take precedent or become an idol in my life that I start to think about, I start to talk about, I start to meditate on more than you. But all of us know money's part of life. It is part of life. And it helps when you have money. It helps. It makes things more convenient. You're able to do certain activities. But I've found in my own world that sometimes the more you get, you think, if I get this, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to be good. And then you get it. And then you want something else. You want something in addition. And it's hard to have that ceiling and have that cap to say, God, I really am good. And I thought just very practically, how do we fight this temptation? How do we fight it? And I think there's just a few things. Number one is this, and this is something you need to practice, and I need to practice, is to practice gratitude. If I'm not going to become greedy, I need to remain grateful. This is what I mean by that. It's not just thinking, oh man, I'm just grateful, I'm just thankful, but it's verbalizing out of your mouth, God, thank you for, and you fill in the blank. Thank you for my home. Thank you for food. Thank you for my job. Even though you might not be crazy about your job, Lord, thank you I have a job. Thank you for my insurance. Lord, thank you for this bonus. Thank you for whatever material blessing that you receive. Practicing gratitude pushes back greed. Another thing it does is serving people. I'm telling you, you get out of the bubble of which you live in and which I live in, and you go serve people who are in need, and you go and you see the conditions of others, and whether that's on a mission field or in different places throughout our city and state, and you go serve people. It's like it gives you a fresh lens by what you see life through. And you say, God, man, through serving, my heart is so attached to what you have done in my own life. Lord, thank you. I remember going to Africa. I've been to Africa numerous times. I remember the first time I ever went to Africa. And I know you hear like stories of people, I went to the mission field and this and that. You got to go for yourself. I'm telling you, me telling you this has a little impact, but you going yourself has a great impact. I remember coming back and I was just so thankful. I was like, oh my goodness. I can just go get to this restaurant and go get this. And they have things there, and there's a lot of blessed people, all that, but it's still, you start to see things through a different lens. You start saying, God, thank you from this time of serving, this time of going. Lord, thank you for what you've given me. And there's not always this next ladder to climb. There is contentment in the day. I encourage you, get out. Don't stay just around the same people as you're around. Don't stay around the same context you're around. Get out and serve people. And the final thing is this, is I'm going to be grateful. It's going to push back greed. I'm going to serve people. Final thing is, I'm telling you, when you give, when you say, Lord, my resources belong to you. I'm passionate about this. My resources belong to you, and you're faithful to give. It will, in the Spirit, push greed out. I believe that with all my heart. So you say, man, I don't know. I feel like I'm doing pretty good. Maybe you are. Maybe you are doing fantastic. Maybe this is an area that you excel in. I'm telling you, for the majority of us, a lot of us though, this is a constant battle because we're moved oftentimes based on what we see. When God says, I want you to be moved based on what you hear. So I hear God saying, Lord, help me be content. Help me be grateful. Help me to serve. Help me to give. Push back greed. I hope this has been helpful to you. We love you. Share it with somebody, and we will see you tomorrow.